Kia ora, good morning. So, in regards to that passage, Isaiah 1:17, that's not in Isaiah, but I know it's in the Bible. I just can't find it in Isaiah. I think the person has misquoted the passage, but I know it is in there, so I'm keeping it up. But I'm making my coffee and I'm thinking about everything that's happening. And in reading Isaiah, I've realised that God knew exactly what was happening, and Isaiah told the world what was coming for Israel, Zion, Judea, whatever you want to call it. That was where Isaiah lived at the time. And now is the time for Israel to be removed. Now, Vladdy, if you are listening, please do not get involved. Do not get involved. You won't remember I said to you last year, God's going to wipe out Israel and you're going to get the New Jerusalem. If you get involved in this, you will not get the New Jerusalem. Iran was picked to deal with it with Israel and Donald Trump. If you get involved, you will not get the New Jerusalem. You will not be the father in the new world. You won't get the new Holy Land. You won't get the New Jerusalem. It's why God had to kick your ass when you started getting involved in business with Trump and that, and he made me walk away. I'm just having a sip. You can send weapons and all of that, but do not put boots on the ground or bums and seats in the air. Don't send troops, don't send men, don't send people. Send equipment, but don't send Russians. Because otherwise, like, you're on the brink, you're at the precipice of getting the New Jerusalem when God wipes Israel out. And he is going to wipe it out because it's in Isaiah. And that incorrect passage that I posted in the last live tells you exactly what's happening to Israel and why. Isaiah spells it out pretty clear, and that God is taking the side of the people, not Zion, not Judea, not any of them. But one thing I found interesting while I was making my coffee, and I think that there's no such thing as coincidence. So you know how King Charles has been getting absolutely slaughtered by the British people in regards to, oh, he's more Muslim than Christian, he's converting Islam, blah, 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 blah. King Charles is a traitor to Christianity, blah, blah, blah. Well, because he's the King David bloodline, and he, as the king, is the representative of all religions on earth, he's supposed to be friends with Muslims and Sikhs and Hindus and Jews and all that. He's supposed to, because he represents God. And whoever their God is, he helps represent the people to their God, right? Because that is the privilege that comes with being from the King David bloodline. Him being friends with Islam may have just saved Great Britain from being bombed by Iran. And I think that Keir Starmer and Labour's plan to vilify Islam and Muslims in Great Britain and make King Charles look like a traitor to Christianity may have just backfired monumentally, because King Charles has always stood by his friendship with Islam and the Muslim people of Great Britain. And it may be the very thing that stops Great Britain from getting bombed because of the stupid actions that Keir Starmer's just taken by trying to cover his ass in the Epstein files and make the whole Mandelson thing go away and stop them all from getting called out. So the one thing that may have actually saved Great Britain from being a target by Iran is the fact that King Charles is friends with Islam, and he doesn't hide it. So I think that plan, Keir Starmer, backfired. I think Keir Starmer, Labour's plan backfired. Donald Trump's gone into hiding, but they've disclosed his location. And if you remember with that message that I was asked to put out last year, God said he would be taken down from the inside out. From his administration to his own people, he would be taken down from the inside out. And then remember back in my WordPress days, I said that when the tanks hit the streets, it's over for the elites. Well, he's sending the military in, isn't he? The tanks are hitting the streets. So it's over for the elites. They made a fatal error, but it's exactly going according to God's plan. Veterans are talking about a rebellion in America. Not just a protest, but an actual full-blown storming of the White House, which is why the coward has fled. You can always tell a real man by who flees and who stands. The Ayatollah stood. Trump ran. So there's the difference between the two. One's a man and one's a coward. But then there's actual military personnel who are calling for a stand down and a mutiny. And when I said back in my WordPress days, when the tanks hit the streets, it's over for the elites, that's because the military and the police side with the people and not the government, and that's exactly what's starting to happen. People have realised, holy crap, Donald Trump is a lunatic, and he's about to get America nuked. He's threatening to nuke Iran, and if that happens, America will get wiped off the face of the earth, and it would be justified in the eyes of the world. The first person to drop a nuclear bomb, their country will no longer cease to exist. And I told him that, and I warned him that. And that little bitch has been threatening to drop nuclear bombs. But his bunkers won't stop him, because his people will drag him out by his feet and position him right where the bomb drops. Because the Americans are not going to go down for a pedophile, I'm telling you now. This had to happen. It had to happen. The only way anyone who was still thinking that Trump was the good guy was going to be able to see the truth was for him to pull this stupid maneuver off. And the thing that may save Great Britain from being a target is because our king is friends with Islam. So God's worked this perfectly. The American military, the Pentagon, none of them are going to back Donald Trump. They will. His location has already been disclosed. People are already calling out all his locations. People are already calling out all the bases for Iran to hit in the Middle East. Which is why now they're having to call on France and Germany and the United Kingdom to help them out, but it's going to go the exact same way for them, and that's unfair. We're going to see innocent French, German and British military forces getting wiped out to protect pedophiles. Every single one of those nations that is targeting Iran have leaders who are pedophiles, who do bad things to children. And they think that by shutting Iran up, is going to make the whole Epstein thing go away, but it's making people so angry that it's making them bring more stuff out. It's making the hackers release more stuff, which is making people angrier because now the entire world knows that this was all to protect pedophiles, so it's going to backfire monumentally. But I think the one thing that's going to save Great Britain is the fact that King Charles has never hidden the fact that he was friends with the Muslim community, that he's with Islam. Thank God. And I think it's about to backfire spectacularly on Starmer, and Trump and Starmer will fall together, but King Charles will be saved. This may just save King Charles because he's going to inadvertently stop Great Britain from being bombed by Iran. So I've put a link in the description box to do with some passages in regards to Isaiah, and see what it says. And God makes it very clear that this is the end of Israel. This is the end of Zionism. And that God fully backs the people. And it even talks about the children. And the arrogance of the Judean women, the Zion, the haughty, with their necks stuck out, and it's everything. It's Donald Trump has done the worst thing in political history. This is going to be the greatest embarrassment, the biggest defeat of any American president, of any nation on earth. America and Israel are about to be humiliated with France, Germany, and Great Britain behind them. But Vladdy, if you're listening, please don't get involved. Please do not get involved. You're right at the precipice. You're on the brink of getting the new Holy Land. When Israel gets wiped out, God is handing the new Holy Land to you so that Palestine can rebuild and recover and all of that. But he's handing it to you, and you're right at the brink of getting it. But if you put troops on the ground, if you don't listen to God's warning, you're not going to get it, and it will go to somebody else. You have to stand back, give them support, give them military aid, but do not put boots on the ground or bums in seats. In planes, excuse me. France, Israel, Germany, America, and Great Britain are now the axis of evil. And the whole world sees it, the whole world knows it. And all it's going to do, all they've done, is they're going to ensure that the Muslim community now gets support from everybody that once saw them as the enemy. Because now the people are seeing that the Muslims were targets all along, that the plan was always to target Muslims, and that they've been persecuted for no good reason other than to protect pedophiles. So their plan to, I'm not talking about illegals. That's completely different. I'm talking about, the illegals are part of they are pawns in the game, but you know what I mean. And don't fall for everything you see on X, because Elon Musk is paid and is paying for the propaganda to instill fear. Do your research before you believe anything you're being told. But one thing is evident, is that Americans and American military service personnel and veterans all now unilaterally hate Donald Trump. And he can go into hiding as much as he likes, but as long as he's got people flying his planes and guarding his door and all of that, he's never going to be safe. He screwed up real bad, but it's all part of God's plan. It had to happen. It had to happen this way. And yeah, that's what I realised. The thing that may save Great Britain from being bombed is the fact that King Charles is Friends of Islam. And so now everybody in Great Britain who called him a traitor may very well be thanking God that he bloody well didn't listen and kept being Friends of Islam, because I think Keir Starmer's plan to have the people turn on the king for being pro-Muslim, pro-Islam, um, not only has backfired on Starmer, but it is possibly going to save Great Britain from being a target of bombing, because they're idiots, and that's what people keep saying. It's obvious that Donald Trump and Keir Starmer are as thick as pig shit. They thought that it'd be a couple of threats, a couple of bombs, and Iran would back down. But Iran were chosen by God to defend the world from an elite group of pedophiles, and they're not going to back down. And they have God on their side, and they have Allah on their side. Remember my dream where I handed King Charles his lunch in the playground, and then I had to climb up that hill, but it was a big hill, and God and Allah said, "Don't worry, we'll help you." And they both took me by each arm and lifted me up the hill. And at the top of the hill, there was those people standing in the house, and they were getting the shit kicked out of them by the Muslim people. There were other people there, but it was the Muslims that were kicking them. Well, this is it. It's Iran. I think the Muslims in that house kicking the shit out of those people were Iran. Symbolic of Iran, the house of Allah, the house of Islam. Um, and the people they were kicking the shit out of will be, because there were about 4 or 5 people, it'll be Donald Trump, Mers, Macron, Starmer, Netanyahu. I think I said there were about 4 or 5 people, so now that dream actually makes sense. And me saying in the dream, this is like, I can't do this, this is too much for me. Like I was in like a barren forest, and the hill that God and Allah were asking me to climb was a huge one. And I was like, and it was very steep, and it was muddy. And I was saying, I can't, I'm not going to be able to climb that on my own. And they said, don't worry, we'll carry you. And God took one side and Allah took the other. And they lifted me up to the top of the hill after I gave King Charles his lunch, because he was about 12. It was the back of the school ground. I delivered him his lunch. And then I watched the people in that house kick the crap. They were stomping on their heads. They were jumping on their bodies. The rage and the anger was like palpable. And I was just on the outside looking in, thinking, oh, well, they must have deserved it. But then I figured out who was in the house. There were like 4 or 5 people getting the crap kicked out of them. And it was bad. There were non-Muslims standing behind the Muslims, but the Muslims were the ones that were kicking the crap out of these like 4 or 5 people, 5 or 6 people. I could just see their silhouettes, and they were absolutely pummeled, like I don't know if to death, if they were kicked to death, but certainly within an inch of their lives. And then I was just like, oh well, and walked off. But now that dream makes sense, eh? The House of Islam, Iran kicking the shit out of Starmer, Netanyahu, Trump, Macron, and Mers. It was like 5 against 1,000. So we know how this ends. It's in my dreams, it's in my messages, and it's in Isaiah. This will be over sooner than you think. This is not World War Three. This is bullies getting their asses kicked because for too long they've had too much control over our nations in order to protect their devil worshipping, their adrenochrome, organ harvesting, and their pedophilic activities. This is going to backfire monumentally because they don't read the Bible. They didn't listen to my messages, and when the tank hits the streets, it's all over for the elites. Well, it's all over for the elites. The worst thing they could have done was get involved in what Trump and Netanyahu started, because this is it for them. People are calling for their lynchings, their executions, their imprisonment. They're rallying to take America down, to take Trump's administration down, and it's people from all walks of life. And Iran Iran know that the world is on their side and not America's and Israel's. So I think Starmer's plan backfired. And King Charles, all he has to do is dissolve Parliament. Then the troops would be called back. Because then there'd be a general election. There'd have to be an election. Starmer has engaged in an illegal war, and he too will be classed as a war criminal. This is not going to go according to plan. And I'm just sitting back toasting marshmallows on the fires of hell, because that's exactly where they're going. It says in Isaiah. So, yeah, so the thing that may save Great Britain from being a target is the fact that our king is a friend to the people of Islam. And now the British people will suddenly be keeping their mouth shut about the fact that our king is friends of Islam, not a traitor to Christianity. He's serving his purpose as the King David bloodline, heir to the throne. He should have listened. King Charles should have listened. Starmer should have listened. So, but it's good for us because we finally see the back of Macron and Mers and Starmer and Trump and Netanyahu, and then we all get to start again. It's a clean slate for us and really bad for them. And it's all in Isaiah and in Revelations as well. So just have faith. I keep telling you this is all going according to God's plan. Just, if Laddie's listening, please don't get involved. Please do not get involved. Send weapons, send stuff, but don't send troops. This is Iran's fight, and they can do it with the support of everybody else, but do not send troops. If you send troops in, God's going to punish you too, and you've taken enough. You've suffered enough with Ukraine. He is literally about to hand you the Holy Land. Once Israel's wiped out, he's about to, you're right on the brink of getting the Holy Land. Everything that he promised in Revelation. Like, you're just about to get it. If you send troops in, it's going to get taken away. And don't you think Russia's suffered enough? You're on the brink, babes. You're on the brink of getting the Holy Land. Being exalted. Please don't get involved. You never friggin' listen to me. And then it backfires, doesn't it? Just, Kimmy Jimmy, babes. Don't do it. Send stuff, but don't send troops. Xi Jinping, babes. Don't do it. Send stuff, but don't send troops. Just stand back. Honestly, a couple of weeks and this is over and done with. Trump and Starmer are about to, I'm talking like the kind of humiliation where they'd be better off taking their own lives than being seen in the streets. The humiliation is going to be monumental. At a modern time where news is going to spread like wildfire, everything they do is spreading like wildfire. It's not like back in World War Two where it could take a few years for this stuff to do the rounds around the world in the newspapers and that, with Morse code and um, sending wires through the sending news through the wires. This is the day. Remember, I said everything used against us will be the very thing that brings them down. So just hang in there. Just hang in there. It's over before it begins, basically. God and Allah, they're on it. I'll put a link to the dream in the description box. But yeah, this is gonna backfire spectacularly. But now that dream makes sense. So I'll speak to you later. Vladdy, please don't get involved. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. For once in your life, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. I I was your work wife. You were, they say, happy wife, happy life. Well, keep your work wife happy. Just please don't get involved, because this is going to end the war for you in Ukraine. Believe it or not, your problems in the Ukraine are going to come to an end, because America's going to need all their resources to deal with Iran. They'll have to withdraw from, everyone will have to withdraw their funding from Ukraine because their countries are broke, stone broke. They've stolen all the money off the people, they have nothing left. So now by them getting involved in Iran, because Iran didn't back down like they anticipated, they're now going to have to withdraw all their funding and all their efforts from Ukraine in order to deal with Iran. So it's good for you. So what I'm saying, God's about to hand you the golden goose of all prizes. Just don't mess this up. Don't mess it up. Like you're on the brink of getting everything you wanted out of this. Listen to your work wife. For once. Just, you're so close. And China and North Korea, please don't get involved. Just sit back. I'm promising you this is going to be over really fast. Now that I've figured out that God and Allah dream, this is going to be over real fast. In that dream, I wasn't even scared or worried or bothered about the people who were getting the shit kicked out of them, because I knew whatever they'd done, they deserved it. So I was just like, me, and walked away. But now that I've realised that it's Iran, it's the Iran and the other nations that back them up against Netanyahu, Trump, Starmer, Macron, and Merz. Now it makes sense. It finally makes sense. And God and Allah climbing me up the hill, lifting me up the hill after I delivered that lunch to King Charles. Because in dreams, when you dream of being in a school, schools represent the need to cut ties with people from the past. That it's time to cut ties with people who no longer serve a good purpose for you. So King Charles being told, now's the time to sever ties with like Starmer and Blair and all of the people who were wanting to profit from Palestine and all of that, because Palestine's about to get vindicated. Iran is going to help free Palestine, and everybody knows it. That's why everybody's rallying around Iran, because it's twofold. They're taking down the pedophile nations, and they're going to free Palestine. So you've been told, now's the time to cut ties. And I was handing you your lunch. Your mum had sent me to hand you your lunch, and I was late handing you your lunch. But it's because I've been hesitant to put these messages out, because I really don't want to get involved, because I shouldn't have to get involved, because I already told everyone last year what was coming and no one believed me. And now everything's happening exactly how I said it would. I didn't want to get involved, but God and Allah are like, come on, just put another message out. Like, we need you to put this message, just do it, just do it. We're going to help you. So here I am. And now the dream makes sense. So handing him his lunch, handing him food for thought. I'm offering him things to think about, like now's the time to seriously contemplate cutting ties with Starmer, because if you don't, the war's going to come right to your doorstep, which is exactly what I said was going to happen. Great Britain will get bombed. Great Britain will be targeted. Because Starmer has changed the the age to call people up to war. Harry will be forced to go and fight, and then in a few years it'll be George, because they're trying to abolish the monarchy. So your grandkids will get sent, your son will get sent. He's brought the war to your doorstep. It's everything I said he was going to do. It's everything I said. You have to dissolve Parliament. You have to have Starmer arrested. He's a war criminal. He has literally started a war illegally to protect his ass from being called out from the same files that your family have been completely destroyed over. He's destroyed your family to protect his own ass by going to war with the people trying to protect the children. But it's going to backfire, and it's everything I said. The choice is yours. Remember, that's what the message from God said last year. The choice is yours as to what happens to Great Britain. You can either stand by the people or go down with your government. I said the clock was ticking. It's everything I said. But because this is an illegal war, you have control over this. You can dissolve Parliament. You can have him arrested for war crimes. You know what to do, Your Majesty. Now is the time. Otherwise, Harry's going to be forced to go and fight Iran. Your friends, your son's going to be forced to fight your Islamic friends on behalf of the people who work with your government to take your family down to cover their asses in the Epstein files. Your family will be fighting on the side of your enemy that I told you were your enemy and you didn't listen. It's everything I said, Your Majesty. It's everything I said. You can't deny it. Everything that I said was going to happen has happened. Your family have taken a hit. Starmer's trying to go to war to protect his ass. It's everything. I don't even need to repeat myself because you know I'm right. But the one thing that might save you is the fact that you are friends with Islam. So I'll put the link for that dream in the description box if you need to read it again. And I've put the link to the stuff about Isaiah. Otherwise, just open your Bible and read the book of Isaiah. And then read Revelations, and you can see it all playing out exactly how God said it would. So ignore Isaiah 1:17 didn't say that, but I know it is in there. I'm too lazy to find it because I'm sitting back toasting my marshmallows knowing that for me this gets me to Switzerland. I'm being vindicated and my name cleared. So while Iran's wrapping all of this up, I'll get justice, get my money, and then Switzerland will be waiting at the end. Just, Vladdy, listen. Kimmy Jimmy, listen. Xi Jinping, listen. King Charles, please, for the love of God, listen. Vladdy and King Charles especially, because you're the Holy Trinity bloodline. Bloody well listen, please. Listen. You're at the brink. So many good things are like literally like the turn of a doorknob at the brink of sweeping change, sweeping global change, and a new dawn rising out of this. If you listen, Vladdy, don't put troops on the ground. Send support, but don't put troops. Send aid, but don't put troops. King Charles, dissolve Parliament. Have Starmer arrested for illegal war crimes. It's all you got to do, and then that's it over. Call an election, clean up Great Britain, the war in Ukraine ends, and then Trump and all that, Trump and Netanyahu and that are left to face the consequences. The only people who aren't taking the side of Israel and Trump are the people on the Epstein list. Now is the time, King Charles, to stand up and defend your family. Remember my dream with the Endeavour. I'm showing you how to defend yourself. You know what to do. Now is the time to do it. And if you need my help and you need my advice or anything like that, I know I'm no one on paper, but in the eyes of God, I have more power than you. I technically outrank you and Vladdy. So just, I'm the Holy Spirit. Remember, and I proved it yesterday about the ninth element. My daughter's supposed to be the ninth element. Whoever her baby daddy is helps me create the ninth element. So, and then she's the one that's gonna, and we're coming into spring now, so it's all about resurrection season. Just for once, please listen. So I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō.